Architecturally stunning, the recently upgraded Adelaide Entertainment Centre in Australia features an iconic 18-metre high domed entry structure known as the Orb. The Orb has been equipped with an advanced LED lighting system from Philips Colour Kinetics, delivering a programmable selection of breathtaking colour, pattern and animated light combinations.
The objectives were really summed up in something that happened on my way here this evening when I was with the taxi driver coming in from the airport. And he said, is there a show on tonight? And I said, no, not really, just me saying a few words about the lighting. He said, did you do the lighting? I said, yeah, we had quite a lot to do with the lighting. And he said, you know, one of the great things about it is that it now looks like an entertainment centre. So as far as the objectives were concerned, it was to get the front end of this very large complex looking like what it actually is, a place of entertainment. So if there's no other objective, that was it. The scope of work, as far as we were concerned, was twofold, really. One was to design and engineer with others the use of the LED system on the ETFE pillars. That was obviously in many senses the main part of the work. There was, however, a secondary part of the work which was to ensure public safety, because this is a big area and this building, when it's in full tilt, can house up to, well, the main arena houses 12,000 people and the new additional theatre space houses a further 2,500 people. So in fact the two are running simultaneously. You've got 14,500, nearly 15,000 people going through. So the flow of traffic under the dome was something which had to be looked at from the point of view of public safety. So there was a secondary system built in which actually is capable of providing the necessary levels of light for public safety. So our brief was really to look at those two factors and to bring the two together in a way that actually worked effectively. The timeline for the project was approximately 2 years from the time that we started the design through to the time that we saw the first night with it all lit. Approximately 2 years. The system is the Philips Colour Grays linear red, green, blue LED system in its more or less standard form with 30-degree and 60-degree lensing. Approximately a 1 kilometre length of that system, if spread out end to end, subdivided into 140 cells, each one of which has 6 1.2 metre lengths of that product. We specified the Philips system ultimately because of its ability to deal with very high temperatures under the apex of the dome, where it does get very hot. Here in Adelaide, in summer, the ordinary ambient temperature can go well into the 40s, and therefore you can imagine under the dome it is actually very hot indeed. It was imperative that we had equipment that could withstand that. And the other reason we chose the Philips system was because of the addressing capability, the fact that we could take it right down to a very large number of small increments. So pixel size, if you want to call it that, was very, very attractive. The major challenge that we came across was the problem of how to conceal the direct view of the LEDs from all the myriad of different angles that you can see the various cells at. And therefore we came up with the concept of a plate, a blinder plate, a kicker plate, which does that, and it also in fact helps optically to diffuse the light across the ETFE pillars. The objectives appear to have been very well met. The client is extremely happy. The general public seem to be full of admiration, and a lot of people talk about it. So I guess, yes, mission achieved. I would first of all really like to thank Rick Kale and his team at Zenian, because without them this could never have been accomplished. There's no question about that. Their input in terms of the technology, their understanding of what the objectives were, was absolutely fantastic. The other person I'd certainly like to mention is Phil Mottram at Oricon, the electrical engineering team, because again without them this couldn't have been accomplished. It's technically quite complex. And finally, I'd like to say that Anthony Kirchner and his team here at the client end were so fantastically supportive. And really, without them, I don't think we'd have got it. They hung on to it, they believed in it, and it's obviously proved to be worthwhile. One of the stories that I should tell is that on one of the nights when programming was happening, or in fact it was just after the programming had happened, the fire brigade here received a phone call saying there's a big problem at the entertainment centre, the place is on fire. So they rushed out, and when they got here they realised there was no problem at all. It was just that one of the programmes that had been put in from a distance looked as if the whole dome was on fire. So that's a mark of how successful it was.